What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Mauricio Ruffy versus James Llontop. And Bronstetter said, Llontop likely to fall to 0-3 in his UFC career, but he's the type of fighter that you want to keep around after a gutsy performance like that. Took a fight against a guy who nobody wanted to face on short notice and delivered a performance like that. Luke Thomas said, Ruffy's game is really fun and dangerous, but it's a lot of razzle-dazzle, sometimes at the expense of consistent attacks. Don't get me wrong, he's awesome and doing well. But I wonder if dialing some of that back so he can get more offensive rhythm wouldn't benefit him more. The matchmaker said, I was 100% sure they'd cut Llontop for the weight miss, but he might have saved his job in the third round. Henry Cejudo said, Ruffy has a bright future in the UFC. Nolan King said, entertaining fight. Ruffy is so fun. Llontop is so tough. That was the perfect recipe. 29-28 Ruffy. Mac Malley said, Conor McGregor watching Ruffy striking. MMA Mania said, Ruffy calls out BSD. MMA Guru said, Mauricio Ruffy wins a decision over James Llontop. Such a fun style to watch, hurts him bad in the second round, but Llontop is tough as hell. Shame this makes him 0-3 and soon to be cut. But, to an educated eye, that was a closer fight than it seems. He's not unbeatable. Viviane Araujo versus Karine Silva. Viviane Araujo defeated Karine Silva by unanimous decision. Here's what the community had to say. Henry Cejudo said, Araujo 29-28, great fight. Steffi Haynes said, clearly I spoke too soon about Silva. Steffi Haynes also said, Silva the round and found out. Aaron Bronstetter said, Viviane Araujo earns a unanimous decision win over Karine Silva. Massive win. Jedi Goodman said, Araujo is the first underdog to win in the last 12 women bouts. Bo Nickal versus Paul Craig. Bo Nickal defeated Paul Craig by unanimous decision after 3 rounds. Here's what the community had to say. Derek Brunson said, the F was that? Ben Folks said, you can tell it wasn't a good fight for Bo Nickal because the commentary has immediately shifted to, hey, the guy just learned what MMA even is like a couple of months ago. Sean Sheehan said, that's probably for the best that Nickal didn't blow us all away in that performance. He's not ready for a massive step up. What he needs is to stay busy and become more comfortable in there. Still has a lot of upside. Ben Folks also said, I'm starting to think that Bo Nickal is doing that thing where a grappler learns some striking and then forgets that it's not his main thing. Bilal Muhammad said, Paul Craig during a face-off and Strickland during a presser seem like they're about to have the craziest fights in the world until the cage door locks. Luke Thomas said, worth considering, Nickal is trying to drag this out in part to get more cage time and an opportunity to implement his stand-up. That's a worthwhile thing to do. That said, he still needs a lot more experience before we start firing him up the contenders queue. Max Griffin said, hope for more from Bo tonight. Steffi Haynes said, cut them both. Henry Cejudo said, Nickal 29-28. Great to see Nickal improve his stand-up. Big win. Mac Malley said, this isn't Bo Nickal's best performance by far, but I 100% think he's just hunting another highlight reel KO and not wanting to show all his cards when it comes to wrestling. I don't think he's scared of wrestling, Craig. Al Iaquinta said, what the no Nickal. Dylan Danis said, I don't want to hear anything about my striking again. Steffi Haynes said, Bo, that was not domination. It was not amazing. Those two adjectives are in direct contrast to what really happened. Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. Charles Oliveira defeated Michael Chandler by unanimous decision. Here's what the MMA community had to say. Derek Brunson said, Michael Chandler is a madman. Must-see TV. Box office. Billy Quarantillo said, Chandler was losing 4 rounds, so Keith let him land all the back of the head shots. Max Griffin said, Charles DuBronx taught Chandler a master class tonight. Aljamain Sterling said, wow, talk about back of the head punches. That was brutal. Ref not saying ish. Sadiq Yusuf said, wow, what a crazy twist. 56 shots to the back of the head, but hey. Trevin Jones said, 40 punches to the back of the head. Is that a new rule in effect? Also, Steve, seriously? Alexander Rakic said, crazy 5th round in a co-main. Aaron Bronstetter said, 49-46 DuBronx. Chandler tried to find the quit in Oliveira and it was nowhere to be found. But all respect to Michael Chandler for his grit and refusal himself to quit. He's made many magic moments at MSG. Billy Quarantillo said, dang, Chandler had his moments. Georgi Kekishvili said, give their fights an instant Hall of Fame. Ben Folks said, Chandler had a chance to win that fight. He really did, but he let it slip away. Dylan Danis said, credit where credit is due. Chandler showed the heart of a lion. I can't even hate. Much respect. Tracy Cortez said, complete domination. What a fight. Congratulations to the former champ. Shaheen Al-Shadi said, win or lose, few fighters deliver genuine moments as consistently as Michael Chandler. What a fight. How can you not love this? Sean Sheehan said, I mean, Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett is surely the fight to make now. Corey Anderson said, do you think Chandler wishes he continued to wait for Conor? Doubt we'll see that fight now if Conor does make his way back. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss MMA news videos every day. Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Jon Jones TKO'd Stipe Miocic in round 3. Here's what the community had to say. Aaron Bronstetter said, Drake hit a bet. Mike Bond said, damn, Jon Jones folds Stipe Miocic to the body. Aaron Bronstetter also said, Jon Jones and still. Beautiful spinning back kick to set up the finish. Bilal Muhammad said, man, that was nasty. Def broke ribs. Sean Sheehan said, what a performance from Jon Jones. He's the best heavyweight in the world. Brett Okamoto said, Jon Jones knocks out Stipe Miocic with a spinning back kick in the third. That was exceptional. Jones looked as good as ever. I truly hope the UFC can make the fight between Jones and Tom Aspinall. The sport needs it. Henry Cejudo said, Jon Jones is and always will be the greatest fighter of all time. Nate Diaz said, the kick 100. Steffi Haynes said, I wonder why Stipe looks slow. Say it out loud commentary. Max Griffin said, Johnny Bones the Bone Crusher. Georgi Kyrkisvili said, Stipe Miocic is the winner for me tonight. This man is 42 years old and went toe-to-toe with Jon Jones. Two GOATs. Chris Cyborg said, the best in the world. Jon Jones, it's a pleasure watching him each time he steps into the cage. Sodiq Yusuf said, that felt like the Jake Paul fight all over again. Helen Yee said, Jon Jones says he won't retire anymore, but wants to see what Dana and Hunter want. Jamal Hill said, that was dominant, as usual. Aljamain Sterling said, hats off to an amazing guy in Stipe. Still the greatest heavyweight of all time to do it. Dylan Dennis said, crazy how this little fangirl who asked for a picture all those years ago turned into a decent fighter. Francis Ngannou said, Jones looked great out there tonight. Congrats, Johnny boy, I see you. Rafael Dos Anjos said, Jones and Dubronx look great tonight. It feels they were sparring. Amazing performances. Congrats. Top comments. In the UK, when you turn 100, you get a letter from the king. In America, you get a fight offer from Jake Paul. Who could have possibly predicted that this would turn out to be an absolutely classless mockery of combat sport? It's almost laughable to compare Mike Tyson, arguably one of the greatest fighters in the history of boxing, with Jake Paul, a social media personality turned boxer. Tyson, now 60 years old, is a living legend who dominated an entire era of the sport with his ferocity, power, and unmatched skill. Even after decades away from his prime, his name commands unparalleled respect in boxing circles and beyond. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is a novice in the boxing world, a YouTuber who has used his fame to step into the ring. While he's managed to generate buzz and draw audiences, his fights are more about entertainment than true competitive boxing. Comparing Paul's achievements to Tyson's illustrious career is like comparing a casual hobbyist to a master craftsman. If Tyson never stepped into the ring with someone like Jake Paul, even now, it wouldn't be a fair contest. Tyson's instinct, technique, and power would make it clear who truly belongs in the realm of boxing greatness. A loss against Tyson, even an older Tyson, shouldn't be seen as a blemish for Jake Paul, but rather as a reminder that stepping into the ring with a legend is a privilege, not a comparison. For Jake Paul to be considered a good boxer, he would need to face and defeat opponents with a real pedigree, not retired MMA fighters or influencers. Until then, his career is a spectacle at best, a far cry from the legacy of Mike Tyson, a true titan of the sport. 27 versus 58 years. People should have some shame, bro. The world knows who is Mike Tyson. He's an old man now. Inside ring, he fought more than we deserve. Hats off for Mike attention. Everyone make sure you keep your grandparents at home. Jake Paul will challenge them to a fight.